The following video is on the quotient rule. The quotient rule says that if we have a function j of x, which is given by f of x over g of x, then j prime of x is g of x times f prime of x minus f of x times g prime of x, all divided by g of x quantity squared. This is a little bit hard to memorize, so we'll talk about some ways to remember it in this video, and we'll prove it in class. So how do we remember this complicated rule? Well, we have something called the quotient rule hoedown. It goes as follows. So remember, if j of x is the function f of x over g of x, then j prime of x, remember, is g of x times f prime of x minus f of x times g prime of x over g of x squared. And the way that we're going to remember this is we're going to call the top function high and the bottom function low. So we have low d high, so low times the derivative of the top, minus high d low, square the bottom, and away we go. Low d high minus high d low, square the bottom, and away we go. So for example, if we have f of x equals x minus 2 over x squared plus 5x, we can use the quotient rule for this. We have low d high minus high d low, square the bottom, and away we go. So simplifying this, we get x squared plus 5x times 1 minus 0 minus x minus 2 times 2x plus 5 all over x squared plus 5x quantity squared. Don't worry about simplifying. Just like with the product rule, just take the derivative correctly, and we'll worry about simplifying as the course goes on. Let's do another example. F of x equals tangent of x. Now this doesn't look like a quotient rule problem at the offset, but remember that tangent is sine over cosine. So once again we can use the quotient rule. Low d high, the derivative of the top is going to be cosine x, minus high d low, the derivative of cosine x is negative sine x, square the bottom, and away we go. So this one we will simplify. Notice that we have cosine squared x plus sine squared x over cosine squared x. And remember, the Pythagorean rule says that cosine squared x plus sine squared x equals 1. So we really have 1 over cosine squared x, which is the same as saying secant squared x. So the derivative of tangent x is secant squared x. Let's do another example. F of x equals e to the x over sine x. So once again, we're going to do low d high, the derivative of the top is e to the x, minus high d low, the derivative of sine is cosine x, square the bottom, sine squared x, and away we go. Let's look at f of x equals 5 over x squared. Once again, using the quotient rule, we get low d high, the derivative of 5 is 0, minus high d low, the derivative of x squared is 2x, square the bottom, and away we go. Notice that this is the same as negative 10x over x to the 4, or in other words, negative 10x over x cubed. We could have also written this function, though, as 5 times x to the negative 2. And then, taking the derivative as we've seen, we would get negative 10 x to the negative 3, which is the same thing as negative 10 over x cubed. So once again, I don't care which method you use, but both work.